What if we told you that your SSI benefits just received an update? But it's not all good news. In this video, we'll break down the 5 key changes to Supplemental Security Income, SSI, for 2025, from cost of living adjustments to new benefit amounts for individuals and couples. While some changes may seem like a step forward, others raise important questions about the effectiveness of these updates in providing real relief for recipients. Stick around till the end, and be sure to like and subscribe to Financial Area for more updates on how these changes will affect you and your finances. In 2025, SSI recipients saw a 2.5% increase in their monthly payments, starting with the payment on December 31, 2024. This adjustment, known as the Cost of Living Adjustment, COLA, is meant to help beneficiaries keep up with inflation and rising living costs. While the percentage increase might sound significant at first glance, the actual impact is far more modest. For many SSI recipients, the increase is so minimal that it barely changes their financial situation. In real terms, this means that the boost in monthly payments might not be enough to cover even a small rise in basic living expenses, such as food, utilities, or transportation. As a result, many recipients feel that the COLA adjustment, while well-intentioned, does little to provide substantial financial relief. The cost of living adjustments are calculated based on the Consumer Price Index, which tracks the cost of goods and services that people typically purchase. However, the reality is that the expenses most SSI recipients face, like healthcare, rent, and groceries, often increase at a much higher rate than the broader index. This leaves many struggling to make ends meet, as the COLA does not always align with their actual financial needs. Although the 2.5% increase is an acknowledgement of inflationary pressures, it's still not enough to match the rising costs that many SSI beneficiaries experience on a daily basis. For some, the COLA increase is so slight that it's barely noticeable in their monthly payments. In fact, many beneficiaries report that the difference is too small to significantly improve their quality of life. The increase might make a slight difference in 1 or 2 bills, but for most, it won't be enough to cover major expenses. This has led to growing dissatisfaction with the system and a call for lawmakers to find ways to provide more meaningful increases to SSI benefits, especially as inflation continues to strain household budgets. While the 2.5% COLA is certainly better than nothing, it's important to consider whether it truly provides the support that recipients need. For those living on fixed incomes, every dollar counts, and small increases like this often feel insufficient in the face of higher everyday costs. Many recipients have expressed frustration over how these adjustments fail to reflect the reality of their financial struggles, and there's a growing demand for more substantial changes to the SSI system that can better support vulnerable populations. The new maximum monthly benefit for individuals receiving SSI in 2025 is $967. While this figure represents an increase over previous years, it's important to note that very few recipients actually receive this maximum amount. Most individuals, in fact, receive significantly lower benefits. On average, SSI recipients are seeing around $800 per month, which is far below what would be considered a livable wage in many parts of the country. Even with the 2025 increase, this amount is still far from enough to cover the basic necessities of life, including rent, food, and transportation, particularly in areas where the cost of living is high. This disparity between the maximum benefit and the average payout highlights a crucial issue in the SSI system. While the maximum benefit may sound substantial, the reality for most recipients is much less optimistic. The factors that influence how much a person receives, such as income, living situation, and other assets, often result in individuals getting far less than the maximum allowable amount. For example, people who live with family or have a small source of income might see their payments reduced due to the way SSI calculates benefits. As a result, even those who qualify for SSI are often left with benefits that are insufficient to cover their basic living costs. Similarly, for married couples receiving SSI, The combined monthly benefit in 2025 has increased to $1,450. While this sounds like a better deal, it still falls short of providing an adequate income for couples, especially when considering the rising costs of living. The $1,450 represents only a modest $35 increase from the previous year, which many argue is too little to address the financial challenges that couples face. Housing costs, medical expenses, and other essential services continue to rise, making it difficult for SSI recipients to meet their needs, even with this new increase. For many couples, the financial strain caused by the lack of sufficient SSI benefits can lead to tough choices, such as cutting back on necessities or going into debt to make ends meet. The relatively small increase in SSI benefits, both for individuals and couples, fails to provide meaningful relief in the face of rising expenses, leaving many to wonder if lawmakers will ever provide a solution that truly addresses the economic hardships faced by millions of SSI recipients across the country. The question remains, will these small adjustments be enough to make a real difference, or will the gap between the benefit amounts and the cost of living continue to widen? Despite the slight increase in SSI benefits, recipients continue to face the harsh reality that their monthly payments are still well below the federal poverty line. On average, SSI benefits are about 30% less than the poverty threshold, which makes it difficult, if not impossible, for many recipients to meet their basic needs. In 2025, the average individual benefit of $800 falls over $300 short of what is required to match the federal poverty line. This financial gap puts recipients in a constant state of struggle as they try to manage basic living costs with insufficient funds. Many are forced to rely on additional assistance programs, family support, or even go into debt just to cover essential expenses. The current level of benefits is simply not enough to allow recipients to live with dignity or even cover essential living costs. This ongoing gap between SSI payments and the poverty line has sparked calls for lawmakers to take action and increase the benefit amounts to at least match or exceed the federal poverty level. Advocates argue that the current system fails to adequately support the millions of individuals who rely on SSI as their primary source of income. The need for a substantial increase in benefits has never been more urgent, especially as inflation continues to push up the cost of necessities. With rents and healthcare costs soaring, the current benefit amounts are widely seen as outdated and insufficient to meet the needs of those who depend on them. One potential solution that could help alleviate the burden for SSI recipients is the expansion of online application processes, which began with a pilot program in 2024. The Social Security Administration, SSA, has introduced online applications for initial SSI benefits, which is expected to streamline the process and make it more accessible for a larger number of people. By the end of 2025, the SSA plans to have online applications available to all applicants, allowing them to apply for benefits from the comfort of their homes without having to navigate the often cumbersome in-person or phone-based application systems. This transition to digital applications could significantly reduce wait times, increase efficiency, and make it easier for more individuals to access the support they need. However, while this shift may improve access to benefits, it does not address the fundamental issue of insufficient benefit amounts, leaving recipients with the same financial struggles despite easier access to the program. As the push for more equitable SSI benefits continues, the introduction of online applications is a small but important step in improving the overall experience for recipients. However, it is clear that until SSI benefits are raised to meet or exceed the poverty line, these updates, while helpful, will not provide a long-term solution to the ongoing financial challenges faced by millions of beneficiaries. The future of SSI remains uncertain, with the recipients continuing to hope that lawmakers will take decisive action to create a system that truly addresses their financial needs and ensures they can live with greater stability and security.